on the I Am More Than Enough Period podcast. Today, we are talking to amazing woman who name is Ketty. Ketty, how
Ketty.
are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really great. It's sunny here where I am. I am in Spain and
All
it's really sunny,
right.
so everything is great.
Okay.
And
Um,
you?
this segment is where we have real conversations with real women and real women telling and sharing their story. So I'm gonna give you the floor, Ketty.
So I can just tell my story.
Yeah, tell your story,
Yeah.
introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me first, and thank you for making this program for all the women that have a story to share.
Right.
Um, well, I am Ketty. I live in Spain. I was born in Paris. So a real French woman. My family comes from Guadeloupe, so it's from the Caribbean islands. And I live for 15 years in the Netherlands. And why I explain that is because I moved a lot. And being a black woman, for example, living in Paris, it meant something different than being a white woman living in Paris. It meant that I was confronted with two different cultures all the time, all my life, and that I had to adapt and to find ways to be myself also. So my journey, I would say, began yeah, I was a dancer. I became a professional dancer. After that, I decided I need to give back because I received so much when I was a dancer that I thought I really need to give back. So I created an association for young people, and they could come and dance, write, or sing. And the idea was showing them that we I trust their talent. So they just need to trust themselves, and then they will be able to produce something, that it is with music, with art, or whatever. We all have talent, and we all have something to share with the world, a
Mhm.
voice. And
Were you
and
traveling? Were you moving a lot because of because you were dancing?
yes, well, at the beginning, I was dancing only in Paris, but and I was studying also. I was student at the university. When I finished, then we went to travel abroad. So we went to the Netherlands, to Germany, to Sarajevo. We went to different places in Europe. And I would say that was for me like opening myself to new culture, new ways of living or seeing life, experiencing life. So that was really great. And I have to say, yeah, when you are able to, um, how do you say that? You have a passion. You like to do something. You are, and and I love to dance because my mom would always put the music at home, and we were always dancing. So at the moment I get the possibility to continue this passion, being chosen to dance in a professional group, and yeah, it was just like a dream, like
Hmm.
wow, I can dance and I can make people happy
Yes.
because they come and see that, and I make myself happy. So it was just natural, like I didn't have to ask myself, am I doing something great? I was doing something great. The only thing is, when you live in a society where they tell you you need to have a work, you need to go your 9 to 5 job, I was always doubting myself on that level, wondering, am I doing the right things now? Because I'm not fitting the society. So how should I continue? And finally, well, I became pregnant. And when I became pregnant, it was just not going together because I was working a lot in the evening. So I had to stop and to change my life. And then also my husband left me when I was pregnant. So I had really to make some changes in my life from what am I going to do now? So I decided to come into the system and to go, I would say, into the matrix, take a job from 9 to 5 to be there for my child, and I tried to fit. Really, I think I tried too much to fit because, yeah, I had the study. and people were telling me this is how you should live. This is not the way you should live. Dancing, doing things that you like is not the way. So I doubted myself, and
Did you have
then
to put your dancing on the back burner?
well, I did because my life was like that. So, for example, when I get pregnant, I couldn't give any more lessons because I couldn't move. So I had to change my way of teaching others because I became a choreograph and then I become a dance teacher. So I had my own group and I was giving lessons to children. Uh, but then when you are pregnant, you just need to make some to change a little bit your life because I was working a lot in the evening, for example, after school.
Mhm.
So yes, I would say life told me that I have to make choices. And at the beginning, I was married, so I didn't think that I had to make choices. But when he left me, then I had no other solution that look at my life how it is. And my life was telling me, "Hey, now you cannot work in the evening, so you need to make changes." And that's when I began to think, okay, maybe I that's the moment for me to come back in the system and to
Mhm.
take a job and to go from 9 to 5, which was at the beginning quite good because it was giving me stability and the stability also for my child.
Mhm.
I earn more money being a dancer, honestly, than doing what I was doing for other people, but I was there and I was able to offer more to my child. That's how I fought
Mhm.
till I had a burnout and then a depression, and then I realized, okay, that's not working. This is not the way that I'm becoming happy, and that's also when I had my depression, which is about 4 or 5 years ago. I realized that in fact I was lying to myself, and by lying to myself, I was also lying to my doctor. So we had quite some fight also. Um, and finally, at the moment I had my depression, I decided, you know what, I really need to understand what is life about because I believed in God, and and I still believe, by the way, but I couldn't accept that it was His fault. So in some way, in one way or another, I knew I could say, no, it's the human being. It's not God. God is not doing anything. He's just above. He doesn't do anything. It's the human being doing things. And I want to understand why. Why is it never enough? All what I do that is still not enough. I am a people pleaser. I was. And it was never enough. I needed to please more and more and more and more. So when I had
I
my
like when
depression,
you said you was a people pleaser.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
because yeah, because my depression, and that's something that I didn't expect it because I became a NLP therapist, so neuro linguistic programming. Then I became a life coaching. Then I life coach. Then I study spiritual coaching. So I had a lot of. I knew burnout. I had also to study for burnout and depression and stress, mindfulness, breath work. So I knew all those things, but still I get the depression. So I
Mhm.
was like, wait a minute, this is not normal. If I have all this knowledge here, how is it possible that that my body give up? How is it possible that my mind give up? So I wanted to understand that because I thought if I come back from my depression, I need to understand how to make sure that I don't fall back again. And
Right.
I would say that was really the moment my journey began. Really, when I decided I make a change. So my relationship with my doctor was really bad, also. So I just accept. I had to accept that. But at the other side, my relationship with myself was the worst because I was not loving myself. I was
Yeah.
trying to please and okay, this one say that I should do that. This one wants that to me. And oh yeah, oh but oh no, if I do that, oh he's not going to be happy. So I was all the time busy in my head trying to think, okay, I need to please people, but it was just never working because
You
they
were
wanted more.
listening to other people, but you wasn't listening to your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And still, I would say I was doing it, but I think that, looking backward to the situation, I realized that I was doing also a lot of things, thinking that it was for me, but it was also to have the validation of other people. for example, my family, my mother, So there were things that I was doing which felt that it were for me. But after my depression, when I began to ask myself, do I really like that or do I do it for someone else? I realized that there were a lot of things that I did for other people and that I convinced myself that I was doing it for me. So that's
Mhm.
when the change needed to happen. That's the moment where I decided that it was um, I decided to speak with God because I was in religion and they told me God doesn't speak with you. Uh, you need to read the Bible. You need this and you need that. And but it was just not making sense. So at the point when I had my depression, I thought I want to kill myself. In fact, so I'm going to speak with Him because I don't have the right to do it. So I spoke with Him and I said, "Why do you keep me here? I don't want to stay here. I'm sure that the hell cannot be worse than what I experience now at this moment on earth. So explain me why I am here. What is the meaning of life? Why do I have this depression? So it was really like asking to someone, to an entity that I thought he exists. And if he doesn't want to answer me, then yeah, then he doesn't answer. But if he answers, then I'm ready to hear the answer. And when the answers began to come, that's when I began to realize, oh, wow, I was just never listening. And he was always there telling me how to move, where to go, what to not do, what to do. And I was just not listening because my ego thought that he knew better.
Mhm.
And I needed
Mhm.
then to um, yeah, my journey was suddenly I had to sell my house. I thought, no, I don't want to sell my house because I will not have my own roof, but I had to do it. And it was like being pulled by God, it was like, do I really need to do that? Because I can't try this and try that, but it was just not working. So at the moment I saw it, everything, doors open. I was like, oh, does the resistance that I have against new things in my life are often given by God, but because I don't want to walk that path, because I feel, oh no, it's too, no, 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 I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Then I walk another path, and that path is the path of fear. So I have the
Mm.
choice to choose for love or the choice to choose for fear. And I think that most of the time in my life, I chose for fear. So especially after my daughter was born, because I went in the system and I was like, oh, I need to do good. But at that moment, from my depression, I decided I'm only choosing for love for God. God is love, and that I was sure about. There was no one who could tell me God is not love. And if you tell me God is my father, then He loves me. Even if I do wrong things, He's going to love me. And then I just need to be aware about what am I doing. Am I doing something that it is good for him or not? That's the awareness. So I built awareness in my behavior, in who I am, what am I saying, how am I moving, why am I moving like that, what did I learn, why do I think that I am a victim? If I think that I am a victim, why do I think that? So I had a lot of questions that I answered. I answered them all for me, and I know he gave me the answer, and then I needed to watch and listen and pause and take time and yeah, go in the nature, sit, no occupation, doing, but just being. And by being, I realized that I was hearing more. There was more space for him to speak and to
And
be
that's what
heard.
we need. And that's what we need to do. We need to quiet the mind so we can
Absolutely.
hear the message. Because
Yeah.
we're so busy. We're so
Yeah.
busy, and God has a bigger plan for us.
Way, wow, that's well. I mean, you have just behind you the Method for Life school. That's
Yeah.
the plan that he has for me. When
Yeah.
I was thinking, I know the plan, I know what I have to do. I did so many things that were completely not aligned with that idea, but I just didn't know. I just had the idea. He was trying to tell me, yes, okay, you remember that you want to do something, but before you want to do that thing, you need to be ready, and you are not
Yeah.
ready because you are not loving yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you cannot bring love outside to the world.
Mm.
You can
Because
only
it
bring
starts with
love.
you. It starts with you.
It starts with you.
Mhm.
And the funny part is, so I began my journey, for example, and then suddenly I found myself going back to my own island. So I was sent back, um, and it was about healing my ancestral trauma. I didn't know where I was going. I just know I needed to go. But then when I arrived there, I made my family tree. I solved my ancestral trauma. But then I traveled to. I was sent also to Egypt, and then to Ibiza, and then to Palma de Mallorca. And I was like, why are you sending me there? And that, what I didn't realize, and that's where I said you need to be really open for the information. I was
Mhm.
sitting every time in a plane, and every time those people would remind me that if you have to choose for someone, if the plane is going down, you need to give to yourself first. This one, you need to breathe first. Don't give
Mhm.
it to your child. Don't give it to your friend or to, no, you need to serve yourself first. And they were repeating that all the time. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But you need to realize what they say. In fact, they
Mhm.
say you cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill your cup. And the
Yeah.
moment your cup is filled, you have so much to give to others because then you can breathe. You can give it to someone else. You can save maybe 10 people because you save yourself first. But if you save one person and you don't save yourself, someone else will need to save you. And then I
Mm.
heard that many, many times, and then it landed. God was really clear. You need to save yourself. If you
You
don't
said a
save yourself,
mouthful.
yes, because
Mhm.
from there you will be able to guide or help people. You are now helping people for sure, but you can help them better by choosing for you. And I also remember that at the point I was asking a question. I was like, because I have a connection with the above, and I didn't. I, I'm kind of medium, like
Mhm.
having
Mhm.
connection and hearing things. And then I asked, but how do I help people? Because I knew in my heart, yeah, but I want to help people and I can't help people. And the answer that I heard, and it was just be yourself.
Just be you.
And I was like, be me? More? And that was it. And I was like, oh my greatness. Hey, wow. In fact, we can help others by being ourselves. Point. So as long as you don't accept yourself, as long as you don't accept the choices that you made, as long as the who you have become, because all the story that the traumas that we have often, yeah, but he did that to me, my mom did that to me, my father was not there, and blah blah blah. So we have stories, but in fact, it was being myself. It meant also I needed to become aware of my own participation in all the situations that where I was putting myself as a victim, from my parents to the white people,
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
my stepfather was not in my life, to the white people never let me do what I want to do, because all those stories I had created them myself, and I just was not aware of that. So I was
Blaming
sure,
other people, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, going, for example, to Guadeloupe and solving my ancestral trauma, that was that thing that I thought, oh, I did it to myself. So I was there and I realized that, um, as a Black person, I had received information without that they were said with the mouth, only with the behavior. And what I was doing all the time, it was, imagine you are in a room and you have the walls. And I was walking all the time alongside the walls. And in the middle, I wouldn't dare to go. As a Black person, I thought, well, I don't have the right to go because my family had already told me, oh, if you do that, you are going to die and you are going to be put in prison. Or so they were telling stories that they knew that were true. But in that case, I never dared to go really in the middle. And if I would go in the middle of the room, it was someone else who would have put me in the middle of the room. So I would say, yeah, but she put me there, so I have the right to be here. When I did
Mhm.
my ancestral trauma, I realized it was me. It's not, of course, when I'm going in the middle, some people are going to say, no, you shouldn't be in the middle. But why am I listening? Who are they?
Right.
Do they give me food?
Mhm.
Do they give me water? No. So why am I listening?
You
And that's where
deserve to be there just as much as they deserve to be there.
exactly. But I first needed to realize that was not them doing something. It was me going walking alongside the wall at a point deciding, okay, I'm going to walk in the middle. At the moment I would walk in the middle, I would look like this. I'm not sure if they are going to let me. And then one wouldn't let me, and then I would run back to the wall. And I saw all my family do that. And I saw lots of black people doing that.
Mhm.
It's and we always say, yeah, it's them, it's them. Of course they are going to react. Of course.
You were
But
shrinking yourself.
but you shrink yourself. It's
Yeah.
not them who diminish you, it's you who accept to go down.
Yeah.
and from when I came back, it was clear. It was like, oh my god, well, never again. And then I went and I walk in the middle, and something changed. And that's that beauty, the beauty of when you become aware of your own behavior, not of the behavior of others, but of yours. When I became aware of that and I decided to walk in the middle, of course, I still met the same kind of people because they were there to show me, are you now choosing for you? Or are you still afraid of standing there? And they would tell me something, and I would say, yeah, okay, well, I stand here. And if they get angry, I say, I still stand here. I don't mind that you have a problem with me standing here. I understand because you also have a trauma. Poor you. I know your trauma because you have the opposite of me. So
Mhm.
you have the superiority trauma, and I have the inferiority trauma. So I understand. But now I put us equal. So, or you stay with me in the middle as equal, or you walk away, but I'm just standing in the middle. The middle is big. You don't need to push me to stand in the middle, but I need to put myself in the middle and be there in love because I know that God made me to. If I exist, is because I was meant to exist. And I was meant to stand there and I was meant to speak my voice and I was meant to, and all the experiences that I had were meant to be shared with even one person, even with you, with one person now watching. Maybe for this person is giving her the power to say, oh, yeah, I did that too. Okay, but if she did it, then maybe I can't try also. And now you know the people are going to push you back. Of course, they are going to push you back. But it's you who need to stand in your power.
Let
The
me ask you
day you
something.
stand, yeah,
When you did that, that day, how did you feel?
powerful,
I know.
powerful. Because I would say, you have first the reaction, then you have the old belief system that oh yeah, normally I shouldn't be there, and then you have the realization, the awareness. Oh yeah, but wait a minute, I have the right to stand there because anyway we are the same, we are human being. No, no, no. And then you can't react, or you can react. Well, no, I stand there, but I still love you. And then when I said that, and I saw the face of the other, thinking, also you love me because I don't love you here, and I felt really like
Yeah.
super strong. And maybe 2 hours later, it was the person going from itself to the wall and complaining about me standing in the middle. So I had something like, now I need to work on having more backbone because many people will find that annoying that I say, I don't owe you anything, you don't owe me anything, and I stand where I want to, and you can stand next to me if you want, but if you don't want, I'm not going to move. Many people don't like that, but you can't do it with love. When you attack the
Yeah.
other, it's just fight, more fight, more fight. So when I developed my own backbone, I was there. And so I was able to really give love from that place now. And
Mhm.
standing in the middle and say, yeah, I understand where you come from. I completely get it. Because now I understood my own story. So I understood the story in front of mine. Because if I feel inferior, I need someone in front of me who feels superior.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'm not going to see that I feel inferior. You understand?
So you found your voice.
Yeah,
And your
and
confidence.
exactly. So it's a work on loving yourself more, because that's there the problem. As Black people, we didn't really learn to love ourselves. We continue a little bit the story of before of our ancestors. But one thing that also was really clear when I was doing my healing journey, I was like, wait a minute, my ancestors, so the slave, they fought, they fought, so I would be free.
Mhm.
Is it the way that I thank them? By walking alongside the wall? How do I dare to do that when they die for me so that I would be free today and so that I
Mhm.
would stand in my power today? How do I dare to do that? So that was also for me also a realization from I was meant to be here, and I'm not meant to be here to fight people. I'm just meant to be here as a person and to be open for all the other stories. So now I invite everyone that I meet, come in the middle. And yes, it is difficult. Yes, you need to build a little bit of self-confidence, self-love. You need to understand your own story. You need to see yourself, because if you think that someone is pushing you to the wall and you stay to the wall, you have a responsibility there. It's you going to the wall. So you need to understand why you stay to the wall. So then you are able to come. You need to, yeah, to find the power, the strength that you have within. And that is for everyone. That's not only the Black people. I mean, that's my
Right.
story. But that's the same for the white people who think, yeah, I don't have the right to say that because my parents told me that. So we have exactly all the same story.
We can
We
break the
are,
cycle.
and we just need to break the cycle by becoming aware what we became, and then embracing what we became, and then saying, okay, I became that, but am I happy with what I'm doing now? Is it in the line of love? Is it in the line of God, for example, for the one who believe? Is it in the line for making me more happy and making the world more happy? So when you begin to ask yourself more questions about yourself and not only about others, you begin to realize that you have more power than you thought, way more, so much more. That, yeah, that's why I created the school, because by discovering my power, I was walking and then I said, wow, I have this, and then, oh, there is more, oh, I'm going, and oh, there is more, oh, I'm going, so it's just because when you create the first moment, there is momentum, and then you enjoy it, you say, oh, yes, I did it. Oh, it was difficult, but I did it. But okay, next time it's going to be better. And then you continue, and it becomes your comfort zone to be yourself, to love yourself more and more. Also the choices that you made, also the fact that you, yeah, sometimes you are just not happy, and that can be, and you need to embrace that too. Generally we judge ourselves, yeah, I should do that, I should do that. Procrastinating, that's something that I hear a lot. People complain about, yeah, I'm procrastinating, and then I'm doing that also sometimes. Now, when I'm procrastinating, I say, okay, God wants me to not do anything.
Right.
I'm trying to
Right.
convince myself from my head that I have to move, when in fact, I need to stay really calm, because something wants to reach me, an information, something. And when I procrastinate, I always think first matrix way society, where, oh, yeah, I procrastinated is bad and I should do that, and then I push myself to do things. And now I think, well, you know what? If I procrastinate, well, it means that my head is not ready. There is something more that I need to do before I do that. And then I'm going to give myself space. And suddenly the procrastination just disappear and I can't do it. So when I
You
focus too much, yeah,
you mentioned that you have a school. Tell us
yeah.
about your school that you opened.
Well, the school comes from when I was a child. I loved to go to school, but what I didn't like is that they were not learning us how to experience life, how to be financially free, how to love yourself, how to follow your passion or whatever. So I thought already, I don't want to be a teacher because what they learn to people is not nice. Later on, I realized, oh yeah, I like to teach others, but I like to teach them to be themselves, to find the strengths that they have within. After my healing journey, what happened is that I realized that, especially with communication, it was really clear. I made a lot of research, also read a lot of books, and what I realized is we all have different inner worlds. So my perception of the world is different than yours, and because we have different perceptions, we need to learn to accept each other's perception to be able to. Because you have one dimensional way of seeing life and I have one dimensional way of seeing life. The moment I listen to your way of seeing life, I have two dimensions. The moment I begin to listen to a third one, I built a multi-dimensional way of seeing life. Yeah? So my school is about showing to people, okay, remember who you are before the story began, before your traumas, before the belief system. When you remember this person, then this person is able to create, to co-create, to create the new earth, to be love. So my school is about telling you, I want you to remember who you are if you want to remember who you are. I will never push someone to say you have to. But at the moment they choose to see themselves, then in the school we have workshops, we have trainings, we have a library that we are building with books, and especially we have the mirror-based therapy. And that's a therapy that we have created, which is about I show you who you are at the moment, and you are exactly perfect as you are. The only thing now is you need to know, do you want to continue to use your powers to destroy or your powers to love? Because I am an empath, for example, I was using that power to destroy myself. At the moment I decided to use it to love myself, I was loving the people way better because I was not empowering them into their traumas or into their drama story. So when you accept who you are, for example, I love the example of saying when someone is autistic. In our society, we say that's not good. Yeah, you don't fit the society. Wow. When you speak with an autist and you see his strength, he is better than most of the people. He's just awkward with social, but he's so strong with creating, with making things. And that's where we focus on at the school. We can say, okay, the matrix, the society already told you what is not good at what you are. Now we are going to tell you what is good in who you are and who you have become. And how can you use those powers now for the greater good? That's the
So,
idea of the school.
so you teach the students how to find themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah. Because you know what? Um, I realized that I had so much power within me, buried, buried under the traumas, buried under the belief system that I had created, buried under my skin color, but under so much things. But the moment I began to take them and put them there, then it was better. I felt better. The day I took them back and I said, okay, but why I become that? Oh, because now I was an empath, so now I am able to feel the energy of someone else. But now I just need to learn how to separate my energy from his energy. So then I am loving myself by pushing this energy. I don't need to push it away. I just need to become aware. This is not me. This is the energy of the person. Now, if I want to help him, I can help him. If I don't want to, I don't have to help him. That's the power of knowing that where you are an empath, you are enclosed in something that the society told you you need to be or you are not good. But when you are looking at through it with Method for Life School, that's what we want. That you see the power that lies within what you are now, then you can use it better because you now know how to walk. You now know, okay, if I am selfish, with, oh, better narcissist. Lately we see a lot of things about the narcissistic people because they are this and they are that, and I met a lot. I am now also writing a book with one, because what I discovered with them is that I was rejecting the narcissistic people, saying that they were bad, because I was not daring to stand in my power and I was rejecting their power. Can you see that? So because he was able to stand, a narcissist is able to stand and to believe what he says, and he says it with conviction and blah blah blah, and then he manipulates, and then we are, yeah, you cannot do it, and then we get angry. But what I realize is, wait a minute, but that is a power when you use it for good, for God. If you use it for bad or for destruction, then it's not good. But when you use that for helping others, for being there for others, and you are here, you are a tree, you are standing, and you can offer so much to people because your head already knows the information, then you are able to help elevate others. So that's that. And in the school, one of the things that was important for us, and that's why it took for me a lot of time, because that's already 4 years that I want to create the school. But I had noticed we have a communication problem on Earth.
Mm.
So if I tell you, do you love yourself? You are going to say, yeah, of course I love myself. So the way I ask love and the way you understand love are maybe different. So it means that I needed to become aware about that, and to become aware about how can you solve that. As a matter of fact, I went to the university to study languages and sociology and psychology. So I knew that there is something there happening in the brain. So I studied that. And what I discovered is, in fact, when you are in the society, you believe really that the society is you. You believe that you are you. So that I believe that I'm Ketty. I have one way of thinking that is different than when I believe that we are all one, that you are me and that I am you, that we are human beings, that we are together, you know. And when I
Mhm.
believe that there is God in between, then I think differently. So you see, so we are three people, and then only because one is religious, one is this, and one is that, we speak differently. But we, in fact, often try to say the same, but we just have another vision of what it is. So the love, for me, love of God was, for example, unconditional. When I was reading in the Bible, it was conditional. But they were explaining me that it was normal, that it was conditional. And in my head, it was just not fitting. I was like, but it doesn't fit in conditional love, and conditional love is not the same. But we were speaking the same. We were speaking the same. So what I realized is we need to, in the school, we want to bring also that awareness about communication. There are different levels of awareness that we can reach, and through that, we have different way of speaking, of experiencing life. And that was also important for most of the people to discover that, because when you know where you are and who you are and how you act, you know how to move. And that's in fact offering a map from, this is where you are, this is what you do, this is how you behave, and these are the possibilities that you can have to become happy in your life, in where you are. With your own awareness, you can build your awareness. You don't need to move. So I wouldn't say to someone, oh, for example, you need to divorce. I would never say that. I would just ask, what makes that you are not happy? What makes that you are not happy? Because maybe it's not your husband, maybe it's you. Maybe it's not your wife, maybe it's you. But maybe it's you who is afraid of speaking to your wife or your husband. But telling you divorce is pushing away the problem, and the problem is going to come back in another situation. So we first need to face the problem and to face you. So how do you communicate with others? How do you communicate also with yourself? Because if you are, yeah, I'm just bad. Yeah, I was never good. I can't do that. If you speak like that to you all day, imagine what it does with your body, with you, because you are full of water. Imagine what it does, you know? Yeah, I'm really a bad person. Yeah, I'm never good enough. If you say those kind of things, I need to speak with you, because the problem is not the divorce, it's you. You don't value yourself. So when you are going to value yourself, then we can watch again the relationship, because the communication that you have now to your partner is based on how you see yourself. If you see yourself better, you communicate differently. If you dare to put yourself in the middle of the room, you communicate differently. If you love yourself, you communicate differently. If you are angry, you communicate in another way. You understand? So we have so much emotion going through us that we are unaware of how we have learned to deal with those emotions. So when we learn that too, we are able to change situations. So it could be that at the end you say, "Oh, we are so good together. I'm so happy I didn't divorce because I realized that it was me remembering something with my father, and now I was putting it on my partner. But now I solved it. My partner was always perfect. I just put it in on him because I was not solving this." And the school is about that. It's about discover who you are, remember who you are, because from the base we are all children. So when we were children, we were just discovering the world, and we were trying to love everyone, and playing with everyone. You know, when you see two children playing in a park, you know, they just met each other and they play, and then one is angry, "Ah, ah, ah," and then you walk away. And then if there is no parents, and you just watch them, they replay again without problems. So but if they come to the parents and the parents say, "Oh, he was bad," then it changed. So it means that in some ways we are able to play with each other without putting the burden of our emotions on someone else. We have learned to do that, and now we can learn to retake the power of our emotions, to retake it back because it's yours. I remember that one person told me one time, and it was exactly, I felt it. He said, "Do you know that when you feel an emotion towards me, you give me your power because now I control you. The
Mhm.
moment you don't react on my emotion, on my on my on what I do, my actions, then you keep your own power. If you become angry and you become angry at the other can trigger you to be angry, then you lose. You already lost. That's what I realized too. When I was going in the middle of the room and someone would push me away, I would be angry. I would walk away angry. He won. He won because he's in the middle and I'm in the wall. And he won because he has my emotions.
And meanwhile, that person is going on with their life, and you are angry. So
Exactly.
who won?
Eh, uh, I lost a lot of lots of wars, and now I decided no. Now I'm going to win the biggest war, and the biggest war was against myself.
Yeah.
And and when I finished that war, I realized, wow, I manifested in fact my whole life. The people that I was attracting, I needed them to help me see myself. Without those people, I wouldn't see myself. So without someone superior, I wouldn't see that I was putting myself inferior. You know, so I realized that I needed those people to be in my field to see what I had become. So to be able to remember who I was, I first needed to see who I was, who I had become, and becoming aware of that. Then I have the possibility to move, courage. And I would say something that I noticed, and I say that really in a gentle way. Most of the black people have just decided they sit on their courage. They have a lot because they continue, they are resilient, but they decided I sit on my courage because if I use it, they are going to kill me, maybe, or they are going to shout at me. And no, well, you should stand up and take your courage and then put it in front of you and use it. And same for the white people. The white people have been taken away their courage. So go and get it back because you are courageous. Don't let people take your courage away. Don't think that black people, because they are like this, no, you are courageous. You can stand in front of me, and when you stand in front of me, I'm not going to kick you. I'm going to embrace you. So
Mhm.
take your look for your courage is there, and you stand up and use it because we are courageous, but we just forgot that we
Right.
can take the courage to love ourselves.
Mhm. So with the school, where is the school located?
So now we are. Well, I am in Spain, and I work together with Sasha, a friend of me, who is in the UK. For now, it is between two. We want to make it, in fact, global, so for the whole world. I have also now a connection with someone, and also with you, so who knows? We are looking for pillars, so for people who are able to stand in their, because I'm not going to teach everyone. I don't want to teach everyone. I believe that we all have the power to give something. So we are looking for people also who can help us, uh, just helping people from their own passion. So not from mine, but from yours. Like you like to empower women. Perfect. So it means you are perfect for, oh yeah, come by in the school, come, and then we have your name, and then people can go to you because they know you are going to help them on that power, and someone else has another power. Oh yeah, come on in the school, then we write your name, then we know that we can send people to you because you stand behind the remember who you are. For me, it's the most important. If you want to help people remember who you are, then you are welcome. But for now, we are in Europe, and we are giving workshop in Europe, and we organize also, how do you call that, online calls. So once a month we have an online call when we speak with the people, and then where they can tell us their story, or they can share something that they are dealing with, and then we try to bring multidimensional awareness inside of the situation. So the other person was wrong, you were wrong, and no one was wrong. That's the idea.
Well,
and
I would
and
love to help in any kind of way.
uh, thank
Yes,
you.
it would be my
Yeah,
pleasure.
yeah, because I do believe that each person on earth, that's my belief, and I want to discover if I'm right. I believe that every person on earth has one superpower that no one else has. That for example, me, my superpowers was behavior. I don't know why, but I was fascinated by people saying something and doing something else, or lying to others and thinking that I was fascinated. I thought, how can you do that? So I spent my life watching people. But I have a friend who is, wow, when she begins to draw something, I'm like, and I say, I could never do that. That's your superpower, you know what I mean? So the way she goes into it, and it doesn't mean because you draw and she draws and he draws, we don't draw the same way, because we all three have different stories,
Hmm.
and the story behind the way you do it is that superpower, is the beautiful experiences that you had, and that you are now able to see that they were experiences to to force this power, so that you would stand inside of it and be the most powerful that you can be inside of your power. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
So
how
with
I work.
the school, do you have any books? Have you written any books?
Yeah. So yeah. Well, my first book was written a long time ago, and it was written in Dutch, and the title is "Feel Free: Find Your Emotional and Financial Freedom," because I noticed that a lot of people had difficulty moving when the finance were not there, and they thought, I cannot do that because I don't have finances. So my book was about explaining you how do you really build the finances. And it was not only about the financial freedom, it was mainly about the emotional freedom. Because when you put yourself like this with the money, then you don't have any movement. So you need to understand what is the story that you have about money, and how do you handle with money. How do you look at money? Because then you are able to put money aside, because you cannot never create more money than you earn. You can, and if you use more, then you need to become aware about what are you doing. Why do you use more? Do you use more to invest to get more, or do you use more to lose? So that was that story behind that book. Now, after my healing journey, I wrote a book about my healing journey, and it's coming at the end of the year, and the title is Hidden in Plain Sight, and it's really my journey, like, honest, like, this is what I believe, so this is how it happened, and this is in fact what I did. So it didn't happen because of the others, it also happened because I was doing something. So then I explain how I saw that, and how the people could also see that in themselves. One of the example is, for example, how we react on situation. So we have something that we call the 3F response. So that is the freeze, flight, and fight. And that is something that it is completely unconscious. The animals have that. So if there is a Leo coming, then we are going to run. Yeah. So that's I run. So we have this embedded in our system, and this direct our nervous system. So when our nervous system, when we want to do somatic work, we also need to become aware about how do we react, because we don't only react as fight or as freeze or as flight, depending on the situation. With my parents, for example, it was freeze. Black people don't speak, otherwise you are dead. That was my idea at that time. But if it was someone outside of my group, of my people, I would just fight. It's like, so we react differently. And it's important to realize that when we are doing the somatic work, because we can't do somatic work, but we don't know what we are solving. So then it's not being solved. It's only a plaster. So that second book is about that. It's a little bit about how I was reacting and how I changed that. Um, and now I wrote also some guides which are about explaining, in fact, the communication problem. So the Method for Life School, how it is built, the different inner worlds that we can navigate when we are here on Earth, and how are we able to recognize ourselves, to know how to build up. So I have written that book, and then I wrote a self-love book for the young generation. So it was for the 17-23 years old. I wrote a book for them, and it's about how do you work on your self-love.
Mm.
So that's the book coming at the end of the year, beginning next year, coming also more.
Busy woman. So before we leave, what is the name of the school and how can people join?
So the name of the school is Method for Life. So the method has an E at the end. The A is for emotions. So it stands for, because emotions are energy in motion. So if you look for the school, you need to put the E at the end. Method for Life School. Um, to find us, there is the link tree. I think it is also on what you have now, but is a link tree, and that is Method for Life School. So with the E, and then when you come there, you see all the links that we are using now. So for example, we are on Facebook. We have a movement, we,
Mhm.
a group, and where we explain, in fact, like really simply, where we ask also to the people to share their story, to share their own vision, because it's really important to understand that there is not only my way. My way is the way I solve my problem. So I'm going to explain you in the bigger picture how I did, but how I did is not your way. Your way is bound to your story. So that's why it is important that many other people are sharing their stories, so that we are also able to see, okay, I can move like this. Oh, this person moved like that. Okay, I can't do that now, but what can I do between where I am and where he is? So we explain the basic. So that's movement of multidimensional awareness and consciousness. That's on Facebook. We have also on Facebook the page of Method for Life School. We are now building the website, so the website is coming, and behind the website we want to have a forum, and where the people can also share or ask questions, so that it stays there for other people. And we have the YouTube channel. So now we are speaking. We're on YouTube. So
Mm.
on YouTube we have Game of Life, Method for Life, and that's there we are sharing. In fact, I would say the basic. So why are we suffering? How do you build your comfort zone? Why did you have the parents that you had? What narcissist, what is it, so a little bit explaining the basic of what is life about, the answer that I get, and that fit also in the idea that you can see life as something difficult, or you can look at life as something that you feel, oh, I'm going to become a detective and find out why I was here. So you take your thing there and you go and you look for information so you can make it a game. You can make it a simulation, and you can see also that if you are able to do that, you are going to see that there are a lot of things that are just happening and that are coherent. Like if you have the rules of a game, if you want to play chess match, we need to have the same rules to play. Well, that would be that. If you take the rules, then we can play together. So we can enjoy life together.
And that's on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube,
Okay.
yeah, Game
Send
of
me
Life.
the Yeah, send me the link so I can subscribe.
Yeah.
So Ketty, we will definitely be collaborating on something. I'm so excited, and you're doing fantastic work.
Thank you.
And your story is so powerful. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, I'm really glad that I was able to come and that you invited me, because I do believe that sharing stories is helping others to see that, yeah, your life is not that bad. It is bad, but you still can come out of it because others also came out of it. I mean, my depression, I already had made a plan to kill myself. So it
Yeah.
means I came back from there, and now today I tell you what. You can manifest the life that you want. Just remember who you are behind everything. So if I can tell you that coming from really down there, I know that everyone can do it. It's just a question of finding the good environment, the space that tells you you are exactly good as you are. Now, try to use your superpower for the best for yourself
Yes.
instead of letting you led by it.
Thank you, Ketty. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your story. You are you're delightful, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, and I can't wait to work together with more women like you,
Yeah.
who are seeing now their power,
Yes.
because that's also that. Huh? Daring to do a podcast means that you are daring to see yourself and accepting yourself and saying we have something to say, and I have also something to share with the other. So with more people like you, I really trust that. Yeah, then I just say, okay, what are you doing? Coming to school? Then we have enough. So then there is enough. I call that the web of light.
Mhm.
The web of light, when you have the
Yes.
spider web has line just laying like that. And I say that the point is one person. So each point is one person having a power to keep the web of light lightening.
Yes.
Yeah. So come on.
Yes. Well, thank you again. Join us every Monday where there will be many women that will come on and share their amazing stories. Um, I do it every Monday, Friday, and Saturday. So please like, share, subscribe to the channel, do all the YouTube stuff. Thank you again, Ketty. This is not the last. I'm saying goodbye, but this is not the last. We will be talking.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you for inviting me. And I wish to everyone a good day, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for now.
Yes. Take care, Ketty.
Yes, bye bye. Take
Bye.
care.